You're listening to BK Presents on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hello, everyone. My name is BK International Talent Scout. I'm bringing a brand new show to you called BK Presents. 30 minutes, non-stop, your favorite in gospel music. The studio sessions, going deep into interviews with your favorite artists, producers, and their engineers. You and your concert previews and concert reviews. Get it all on bkpresents.com. Hello, everybody. This is BK International Talent Scout. We are live in the studios at Rainier Avenue Radio. Daniel, the producer, he is here. And what we're doing a special exclusive one-on-one interview with Micheal Miller. He is a songwriter. He is a keyboardist. He is a producer. He does it all in the realm of music. Everybody, welcome to the stage, Micheal Miller.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Man, how are you doing?
You know, I'm doing good. I am, really I am. You know, I know some people say that, but I really am. Life is good.
Okay.
I'm in a good place right now.
I'm going to try to ask you open-ended questions so that, you can share your heart. You've touched on a lot of good things in pre-production talk as we were starting. So we're going to bring those into the interview. I met Micheal Miller on stage at the Royal Room. My best friend Sheila was with me. The producer, Tasha, that's my cousin.
Okay.
Yeah. So we came to see your show. We were like, oh, what are we going to do? I was like, let's go. My cousin's doing a tribute concert. We got to go. I just found out she was my cousin like a year ago. So we tried to support her. And so we found out there was this Stevie Wonder tribute. And then I said, we got to go check out Micheal Miller. He's doing this thing called Brilliance at the Royal Room. Let's talk a little bit about who you are and how you got started doing music or recording music.
Yeah, man, wow. I mean, if you want to go back to the beginning, where it started in the fifth grade.
Okay.
Toward the fifth grade, I walked in the music room and the teacher was like, what do you want to play? And I looked around there and I was just like, do I want to carry that big tuba home every day to practice? Or do I want this little flute right to practice?
Right.
So I went in the middle. So I picked that instrument. It ended up being the saxophone.
Wow.
So I learned the sax from fifth grade all the way to the ninth grade. In the ninth grade, and I joined a marching band.
Wow.
So now I'm with the saxophone and the marching band. But the thing about that was we rehearsed or practiced out on the football field in the mud before school. As a kid, you don't want to get up early.
Right.
I was like, Mom, I want to sleep in. It's like, no, you got band practice. So I was like, man, I don't want to be in this marching band. I did love all the techniques and things that I learned in the marching band. That was great. Steps and all that. But I'm like, man. So I said, well, I got to pick an instrument that's not going out on that football field, right? So there goes the sax. So I switched over. Since I learned how to read music on the saxophone, it was easy for me to transition to the piano.
Wow.
So I said, I'm going to get this grand piano because I know that grand piano is not going out on that football field. Right. So that's how I end up switching over to the piano. And I was ahead of everybody in my class. So that kind of like transitioned.
What was the first song you learned how to play the piano? And then also, if you grew up in church or in Black community, you always hear musicians talk about, I play by ear. So if you could talk about the first song you learned to play, and then what does it mean to play by ear?
That's a whole different ball game. But since I learned in the fifth grade, I learned the right way. I learned by reading music.
Wow.
But I say this because I went to a school over there and it wasn't predominantly Black, right?
Okay.
So the things that I was learning wasn't like, the They got me doing country strums and some other things. I took 2 years of guitar. I took 2 years of drums. I did 6 years of saxophone, and then I switched over to the piano. Never sang. I never was a singer. And so I was always playing these instruments. And so the first song was that, I can't remember, it was a Michael Jackson song, was my first recital. And that was my first song I learned. But I learned it by reading the music. But it was, when it comes to musicianship, you can either do two things. You can play note by note by note by note, or you can play chords.
Okay.
A lot of church musicians play chords, right?
Right.
It's not the classical.
Right.
So I learned by playing more of the and not the chords. So fast forward, senior year, my last thing that I did, Lionel Richie was my idol.
Oh, wow.
So I did a Lionel Richie song called Still. You ever heard? I do love, Still. So, so everybody used to walk around the school and tease me. Still. And at that point in time, I was an athlete. So we were the state champions back in the day. So in the locker room, all my teammates was teasing me about, Lionel Richie, doing Lionel Richie songs. So they're in there saying still, in the locker room, just saying all these things. And it got to me. And it really did. So when I graduated, I joined the military, and I left music alone because those guys teased me so bad in the locker room. I left music alone for 23 years. Wow. My biggest mistake in my life. Wow. I wish I can get those 23 years back. So once I was in my 30s, and then I said, okay, well, I need to kind of settle down a little bit, stop running the streets out here at doing all these things in the streets. I want to be at home. So my girlfriend at the time, I said, you get me a keyboard, I'll stay home, And so she bought me a keyboard and I was at home. Here I am. So now I'm out trying to join bands, local bands. And I'm playing these little ding, 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 ding on the keyboards. And everybody's like, man, that stuff ain't working. So kick me out of that band. Went to another band. I didn't know chords at the time. I'm playing these notes and didn't know none of the songs like Earth, Wind, and Fire and all these songs that everybody knew, right? So I'm just like, I never played these songs before. And so it was a difference. So I was kicked out of band. So I sat at home. I says, well, I got to get this right. So for 2 years, I didn't go out. I didn't go watch any other bands. I sat at home and I got me a book out and I learned chords, of how to play chords. And it got to the point to where I would start going out, and I don't know if you know a guy, a keyboardist named Curtis Seals.
Oh yeah, he's like the
number one guy. Yes. And he told me back in the day when I was first learning, he says, man, you learn Stevie stuff, you got it. I says, man, I don't know any Stevie songs. So I had to start, Superstition. Everybody learns that first. But he said that a long time ago. So I knew it was going to be a challenge. And I've always been up for challenges. I've always pushed myself past all these things. Right. And so here I am sitting at home after the 2 years, and I'm joining bands. And then I got to the point to where I was pretty good at playing all these chords. So now these guys everybody's calling, hey man, come join our band, come join our band, come join our band. And at that point I was like, had to turn bands down, which was weird from being kicked out of bands to now everybody's calling. And so, but at the same time, so I played all the casinos. I played every casino around this town, and it's long nights. Right. It's 4 hours of playing up on that stage, 2 hours before, 2 hours after. So it's an 8-hour day, and I work a full-time job. So you have to figure, and let me know if I'm going on too much, but it's the story that transpires to where it is. Right. And so, it gets to the point to where, man, I don't want to be up on this stage. I don't want to spend 8 hours in the day just to make, and the money's not that great. So, $100, $150, you know what I mean? So 8 hours divided by $100, $150 is not my cup of tea of making money. If you figure people at McDonald's making more money than me. So I was like, well, I got to do it in a business sense. Okay. So I took it a different level. So I'm like, I start telling people, man, I'm not doing the casino stuff. It doesn't add up to be, over minimum wage. By the time you add up all the hours and what you're paying me, it doesn't add up. So I said, I got to do something different. I need bigger shows. I need a bigger venue. I need a bigger audience. And so got to the point I thought about the Stevie thing. I've always been a Stevie fan. And so here I go, start learning Stevie stuff.
Right.
And my thing was, I wasn't going to say this in a bad way. I wasn't going to launch this Stevie project until he died, because I wanted this to be a Stevie thing, you know, a Stevie big thing. Stevie's gone, and the only time we can hear it is go hear a tribute band. And that's where I came into play. But it also came into financial things that that made it very interesting for me to start, okay, I can make some money off of this as well. Wow. But the challenge was to learn all Stevie stuff. So anyway,
what about the voice? I mean, like, to hear, because you were like sounding like Stevie. So how are you able to get your voice to sound like Stevie? You play like Stevie. You had the look of Stevie. What? I mean, your Stevie Wonder tribute concert has to be like one of the best ones in the nation. I
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks. And I've done my research. I'm very good on the computer. I see who my competition is. I looked around the world, even when I picked my name, Brilliance. And it was funny, Kathy over there, we were driving from Eastern Washington, and I was like, I need to come up with a name for this Stevie Wonder tribute. So, and how I came up was, I've had probably 10 bands in my life. And I used to just drive down the street, and I would come up with a name, and I look at a street sign or a building, and I would name my bands, right? And so we were talking, I can't remember what she said, and she's like, you know, he's very brilliant. I'm like, brilliant. You know, I was thinking putting something Wonder Mike, Wonderland, Wonder something, right? I'm like, but everybody had that Wonder stuff going on out there. And I said, I need something more that's going to be different. And so I got to the point to where she said, you know, Stevie's brilliant. I said, that's it. Let's brilliance. But I don't want to spell it the regular way. I want to put a little, you know, that's where the TZ came at the end instead of brilliant, as you spell it, BRILLIANCE, right?
Right.
I did a TZ at the end. So it's eye-catching. So when people see the brilliance, they know it's gonna.
They know it's Micheal Miller.
Into the Stevie Wonder project. And so that's how we came up with the name. And so, of course, it has to grow on people like anything else.
Right.
And so that's where it's at. I know.
Tell us about your last, like, I seen you at the Royal Room. Give us a little clip of your last Stevie Wonder tribute concert. What did it mean to you? And how do you feel when it's over? Like, you shook the last hand. Because it's like, I don't know, like, it seems like when you do music or performing things, you can be like way up here, everybody, and then out of this whole thing. So how do you feel after your brilliance performances? Or how do you come back to reality?
You know, you say that as it is, right? Because you build up this stuff and everybody's clapping at the end, and it's a good feeling. You know, I used to referee high school basketball and for 12 years. And so I had people yelling at me, calling me names. You suck. You can't. You get some glasses. They're yelling at me. So now I said, well, I'm going to flip that around. I'm going to have people yelling at me in a good way, not a bad way. Wow. And so when I was telling my fellow officials, I says, man, I'm going to do music. I says, I'm done with this refereeing stuff. You know, I'm tired of being yelled at by grandmas that don't even know the rules of the game, you know, so I'm going to go do something different. They was like, really? You going to go do it? I said, man, I'm going to go do it. So when they see me now, it was like, man, you said you were going to do it. You really did it. I says, man, I when I put my mind to it, just like when I started in the 5th grade learning that saxophone, I put my mind to something, I'm going to do it.
Wow.
And so it is a good feeling to say at the end, but at the end, I think my mind, and she'll probably tell you too, I get home and I'm worried about all the things I probably did wrong that I can make better for the next show. Okay. And so the next morning, and she'll tell you too, I get up in the morning, I always record my shows, the whole shows, 2 or 3 different cameras sometimes. And I'm up watching every little bit of my show to increase it, to make it better for the next one.
Wow.
And so I don't know how many people do that, but it's something in me that I want to know what I did wrong. I want to make it better for next time. I want to, like before I came here today, I had a vocal lessons with, shout out to Kevin Gardner. I don't know if you know him.
Oh, Kevin Gardner.
He's doing a show here with the Funkadelic.
Oh yeah.
Coming up, shout out, give it to them November 15th. And he also does the Zap tribute and the Gap
Oh
Band
yeah,
tribute.
yeah.
And so he also does vocal lessons. Anyway, before we came here today, he gave me a vocal lessons, and we went over some things that I need to work on just to make things better. He says, you're good, but you'll make it better. And I'm always going to try to make things better. So
Wow.
I think that's where.
Okay, the next topic we gotta get in this interview: in-ear monitors. Why do you have them? How do you get them? And what does it do for your performance? In-ear monitors.
In-ear monitors. Oh man, it's a beautiful thing. And actually, there's been some old school people that come in my band, and I tell them that we don't use amplifiers on the floor monitors. When I tell a sound man, I says, I don't want any monitors on the stage. They always look at me like, no monitors?
No
I
monitors?
said, no floor monitors on the stage. I want a clean stage. Everybody in my band has in-ears. So in-ear monitors is a beautiful thing because people can have their own mix. So my bass player can have his own mix. He can have, if he wants drums loud in there or he don't want drums at all, he can have my vocals in there or my vocals not at all. They get that option to do. And so with that, it also gives them cues. We call it cues, how I can tell the band where to go.
Right.
If they're going to the bridge, if they're going to the chorus, if the background needs to come in or the background needs to, be quiet on this part of the song. I talk to them that way in ear. So, but we practice it, all the time with that. Yeah, we practice with the in-ears. So we practice at our house. So she'll tell you it's very quiet at our home, but it used to be where I used to practice with live drums and it'd be loud. So now we practice with electronic drum set and everything's in ear. So it's very quiet in our home, not like it used to be with a full band. So we can rehearse all the time and it's not as loud as it used to be. That's the benefit of it too. So you're not, tearing up the neighbors or whatever, trying to have a rehearsal because, people want to be loud. They can be as loud as they want in ears. So that's the benefit of in-ears. And I love it.
Wow.
The clean stage, and you can have, and vocally wise, and I tell every singer, vocalist that I try to talk to, when they says, we have monitors on stage, and they said, I can't hear myself. I says, get some in-ear monitors. I says, they'll help you tremendously. But they're like, well, how much does it cost? So everybody's into a cost. Of course, I have some thousands of dollars in equipment that I spent to get a lot of this stuff. It wasn't cheap. It is thousands of dollars to get in-ear monitors and get everybody in the band to have this stuff. But in the long run, it's going to pay off.
Wow. Daniel, how many minutes do we have? Okay, we got 10 minutes. Okay, let's talk about recording and people that you help in the community to record. You're a music producer, recording. Let's talk about recording in these 10 minutes. First, how do you work with individuals in the community and how can they find you to record their music?
I've worked with many people, and of course myself. The downfall of it is when you're working with other people, it takes away from my projects because I have my own music to make, right? So there's only so much time in a day, right? Or a week or a month.
Right.
So I have to work a full-time job, get off and try to create this music in my mind. But when people call me up and says, man, I got this song, man, and I have to do it from scratch. They come in with nothing. So they come with it with a tempo. So I put a kick to it. Boom. Dun, 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 bang, 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 bang. So all that starts from scratch. Okay. Next thing you know, 2 hours later in their session, they got a basic of a song that I can send to them. So then they take it home and put lyrics to it.
Oh, wow.
So then they come back for the next session,
right?
Put up my recording mics and all that stuff, and we put the vocals to it. That's a couple hours. And then, maybe 2 more hours after that, they have to get in there and clean up some of the bad notes and all the things that they have. And with 6 hours, somebody has a full song mastered and ready to go.
Wow. So tell us what you're working on. Is there a single coming out? People are going to go home. People are going to definitely Google you, Facebook you, Instagram you. So let them know, is there some product they can get, or where can they find you at the next Brilliance concert?
Yes, Brilliance next show. So far right now, as I go through some transition, trying to add new songs, I'm trying to add in Sir Duke.
Oh,
and I have done that. The only reason I haven't done that yet because I want Sir Duke has a lot of horns.
Yeah.
And I want a horn section to really get into that and really blow people away with it. So I've been holding back on that song. Also, there was another song that I've been working on. There's a couple more that I want to try to add into the project. But Stevie has so many songs. I can only do a 90-minute, maybe 2-hour show. Stevie probably has 6 hours worth of music that I can probably.
Wow.
I mean, he goes on and on. So when I give a show, if you come to a show, it's like, man, you didn't play.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I've always had people come up to me and say that. I said, man, I only have so many minutes in the night to give, to do the best I can. So I just think that's Stevie. I mean, he's a brilliant. That's why I named the band Brilliance.
Oh,
he's a brilliant man. He has so many songs. I can't get to them all. And I want to perform them the best of my ability.
Right.
So as I do that, so that's my shows as far as coming up. So I'm trying to add a couple more things for my next show to be better than my last show.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be in January. January 24th is on the books right now. So that will be probably at the Flight Path again. As I prepare. So my whole vision of this whole project is I don't know if I told you that or explained it. I want to travel the world with this project.
Oh, wow.
I want to stop working and do music full time by doing this Stevie Wonder project around the world with a production, not just singing the songs. As I think I told you earlier, I want lights. I want smoke. I want video screens. I want the whole production. I want the 13, 15-piece band like Stevie had on his last shows. You know what I mean? And so it's a work in progress. And so I'm constantly working at that progress.
I definitely want to encourage you because, like, Kalimba is like the #1 Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute band. They travel. So I really see you reaching your goal.
Yes.
But you know what I see in my spirit? I said he's going to end up with a Netflix special.
Come on, man. That would be a dream come true. Why not? But I'm working hard at it, and trust me, I'm not sitting back letting it come to me. As you see, what I'm trying to do. I'm making things better every day. So hopefully that, and people notice that kind of work, and they say this guy's working hard. That's how people win Grammys. People don't win Grammys by sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah, you're building.
Those people are building. They're out there. They're grinding. They're hustling, and that's where I'm at. I'm grinding. I'm hustling. And sometimes she would say, I said, honey, the hustle is in me. I've always been the hustler. And the hustler is not it can be a bad word, but it really isn't. Right. Hustlers sometimes think of a drug dealer, type of hustler, right? Or a pimp or something. But you can have a hustle of working hard at what you want to do. So that's how I see the word hustling. That's what I am. I get up and I thrive. And how can I do something positive today about many things in life, not just music, but even for myself?
Wow, we spent a 30-minute session with Micheal Miller on Rainier Avenue Radio World. We have to this show is going to air like 5 times, and we'll let you know when it's going to air. But like with you, I got to do this live stream with you so that you could be at home in your element. I'll be where I am. Okay. And then we could talk for an hour and a half.
Just make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's nice too. Like I said, I appreciate it. I mean, there's so many stories, I can go on and on as you probably see.
This is a tease to the 130-minute interview where you'll be in your element. You can sing, you can play, your wife can be a part. And Brilliance.
Oh yes, please check out Facebook/Brilliance, BRILLIANTZ on Facebook, and follow us, like us, leave a comment. I love reviews. I love to hear what people want me to play, because everybody has a great Steve. What's your favorite Stevie song?
All of them.
No, you pick one though. I know, but see, I have to do that same thing.
My
Cherie, it's a good one.
My Cherie Moore. Okay, we have to end the show, but we're not going to end the friendship. No, Micheal Miller, it was an honor. It was fun. I'm glad you came, and we're going to keep this show rolling. This is BK International Talent Scout with Micheal Miller on Rainier Avenue Radio. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Seattle, for checking out the show with BK Presents on Rainier Avenue Radio. It's been our pleasure. But listen, we want to connect with you. Maybe you have some takeaways from the show that you would like to let us know about. You can do that in two ways. You can go on Twitter and follow us at BK Presents, or email us bkpresents@gmail.com. Once again, that's bkpresents@gmail.com. Until next time, we look forward to hearing from you again on BK Presents. This is Marquise Franklin, the producer of BK Presents, and that is our time for today. We want to say thank you for listening to the show, and if you'd like to hear the entirety of this episode and more, visit bkpresents.com. Also subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Google Play. BK Presents, promoting the good news in contemporary fashion.